I-28M had been dating my girlfriend, 27F, for roughly 2.5 years. We kept separate apartments, something I now thank the universe for every single day. We'd been casually talking about possibly living together sometime next year, but for the past couple of months, tiny things had started feeling wrong. Nothing huge, just little cracks. Her phone suddenly always face down. Vague answers about her day, snapping at perfectly normal questions. My gut was whispering that something wasn't right. Last Saturday, I went to her place for what I thought was just a normal night in. Her two closest friends were there too, which wasn't weird. They often hung out before heading out somewhere. I was on the couch scrolling when she suddenly killed the TV volume and said, "We need to talk." Her tone sounded rehearsed, like she'd practiced it. I glanced up. Both friends were staring at me like I was about to be executed. One had her phone angled obviously toward me, recording. The other looked like she was waiting for popcorn. She took a breath and delivered the line. "I've been thinking and I don't want to do this anymore. We're finished." Dead quiet. I looked at her, then at her friends, one biting back a grin, the other practically vibrating with anticipation, and everything clicked. Because here's the part they didn't know. 3 weeks earlier, she'd left her laptop open at my place while she showered. A group chat notification popped up that said something like, "The test will prove if he really cares." I'm not proud of it, but I clicked. I read everything. For weeks they'd been plotting this exact moment. Her friends had convinced her that if a guy truly loves you, he'll fall apart, beg, cry, make grand speeches when you fake dump him. If he stays calm or accepts it, he never loved you and you should leave him for real. While reading, I scrolled further back and found the real gut punch. Messages from 2 months ago. My girlfriend venting about a married coworker who'd been flirting hard. Her friends egging her on. "You deserve to feel wanted. Keep your options open." Screenshots of late-night texts that were definitely not professional. Him telling her she's gorgeous. Her replying with hearts and winking faces. Plans for after-work drinks she never once mentioned to me. I'd spent the last 3 weeks quietly watching. The sudden late nights at the office. The new passwords. The phone never leaving her hand. The extra effort with hair and makeup on workdays. I didn't confront her because I needed to be 100% sure, and I needed time to process the betrayal. So when she hit me with the staged breakup, I realized this was my clean exit. I set my phone down, looked her straight in the eye, and let out the most relieved sigh of my life. Thank God. Finally, I can stop pretending I don't know about you and Mike. You could have heard a feather land. Her friends' faces went from smug to horror in half a second. One literally dropped her phone. My girlfriend went ghost white. "W what?" she stammered. "Yeah," I said calmly. "Mike from work. The one you've been texting about how he actually listens to you, how he can't stop thinking about you, how you look forward to seeing him. Those late nights you said were deadlines. I know where you really were." The color kept draining from her face. "How do you? Doesn't matter. Point is, I know, so if you want out, great. This saves me from having to be the one to end it." I stood up, grabbed my jacket. Her friends were statues. One finally jumped up. "Wait, it wasn't real. It was just a loyalty test. She didn't mean it." I actually laughed. "A loyalty test. You staged a fake breakup to see if I'd cry and beg like a dog, and that's what you're worried about right now. Not the fact I just called out her side piece by name." My girlfriend started crying, real tears this time, not the performance ones. "Nothing happened, it was just flirting." "Cool," I said, walking to the door. "You wanted to play games, turns out I wasn't playing the same one." Her friend tried to block me. "You're overreacting." "Move." She moved. I left, blocked her number before I reached my car, and drove home shaking, not from rage, but from pure relief. Like I'd been drowning slowly for weeks and finally broke the surface. Update 1: 4 days later, she blew up every possible channel. Friends' phones, her mom's phone, cousins, random numbers. I blocked at least 15 in 4 days. Voicemails went from sobbing apologies to calling me immature, to claiming the silent treatment is abuse. One of her friends left a voicemail calling me a psychopath for manipulating their innocent test. Another sent an essay explaining how my calm reaction proved I'm emotionally unavailable, and she was right to test me. Actually quoted TikTok attachment-style videos as science. Then she showed up at my building, slipped in behind another tenant, and camped outside my apartment door. When I got home from work, she launched into, "5 minutes, please, let me explain." I told her there was nothing to explain. She insisted nothing physical happened, it was just texting, and that I'd been distant so she felt unloved. I pointed out the irony of blaming me while her friends orchestrated a fake breakup. She offered couples therapy, to quit her job, to cut off the friends, anything. I told her to leave. She sat down in the hallway and refused to move. I shut the door, locked it, and called security. They removed her while she screamed that I was still her boyfriend. Next morning, her mom called. I always liked her mom, so I answered. She started gentle, apologizing for the silly test, begging me to forgive a mistake. Then when I stayed firm, her tone flipped. Real men don't abandon women at their lowest. I wished her well and hung up. 5 minutes later, an unknown number texted that I'd regret this and her daughter deserved better. Blocked. Update 2, 10 days later, escalation went nuclear. She and her friends started showing up at random hours. 11 p.m. buzzer spam. 6:30 a.m. one of them leaning on my car waiting for me. That friend tried that she tried to hurt herself because of you line. I asked if she was safe. She said yes, then called me heartless. Then an anonymous complaint to my landlord about drug activity and suspicious traffic. Landlord laughed it off but had to follow protocol. I explained the crazy ex situation. He made a note and said keep him posted. She started telling mutual friends and people at her office that I was stalking her, and she feared for her safety, building a paper trail in case she needed it later. That's when I stopped playing nice. I documented everything. Screenshots, voicemails, timestamps of every visit, the landlord complaint, spreadsheet like I was prepping for trial. Hired an actual harassment attorney. He sent cease and desist letters the next day. I called the married coworker. Found his number easily. He's active on LinkedIn. Told him I had screenshots of every message, including the ones joking about his clueless wife. Told him to make her stop the harassment or those screenshots would land in his HR inbox and his wife's email. He nearly cried, promised to handle it immediately. The next morning, the C&D letters went out certified mail to my ex and her main accomplice friend. Radio silence began within hours. Final update 3 weeks later, peace, total peace. Her lawyer sent a laughable demand letter. $5K for emotional distress. Deletion of all evidence, written apology, promise never to contact the coworker again. My lawyer's reply basically said, bring it, discovery will be fun for everyone, and highlighted that truth is an absolute defense to defamation. We never heard back. Turns out after I called the coworker, my ex lost it at the office, screamed at him in front of half the floor about choosing his wife over her. HR investigated, found prior complaints, fired him for cause. My ex got put on a PIP, couldn't face the gossip, and quit 2 weeks later. She moved back in with her parents. The friend group imploded under mutual blame and guilt. I heard the coworker's marriage is hanging by a thread and his career in that industry is toast. Me? I'm okay. Genuinely okay. Of course, I miss the good parts sometimes. 2.5 years is a long time to share your life with someone. But I miss the version of her I thought I had, not the person who needed tests and backup plans. I'm not dating yet. Just enjoying quiet mornings, no more face-down phones, no more wondering why she's stuck at work. My real friends have been incredible, my family too. And every now and then I remember how close I came to never knowing the truth. If that laptop hadn't pinged at the exact right moment, I would have begged and cried like they wanted, proved my love on command, and stayed none the wiser while she kept her side fling warm. So yeah, thank God for careless notifications and terrible friends with terrible ideas. To anyone in a similar spot, trust your instincts. Document everything. You don't have to set the world on fire, but you sure as hell don't have to let someone treat you like a toy either. And to my ex, if you ever see this, I genuinely hope you figure out why you thought any of this was normal or fair. I hope therapy helps, but we're done. For good, peace out. Time to live my life.